This predator should have brought the plasma cannon, and is that mask more style than substance? The particular predator who arrives on Earth in Prey has a ship that's shown a handful of times, mostly while it's transitioning in and out of active camouflage. It's even visible as early as the first scene, where a slight disturbance in the sky over Naru's village foreshadows the aliens' arrival. But what happens to the ship after the predator descends to the ground? In the shot where the predator is properly deployed, he simply drops from his ship, which re-enters camouflage and disappears into a nearby mass of clouds. Is the ship on autopilot? Are there other hunters on board, setting off for other spots on Earth or even other planets? What happens to it after Naru kills the predator? While these questions might all seem minor in the grand scope of the story, their answers would provide some interesting insight. It's unknown just how extensively the predators have explored Earth and humanity by 1719, and getting a look inside the ship would give some clues. Perhaps for the best though, Prey is more interested in the action on the ground, leaving the many mysteries of the ship unanswered. Naru successfully uses the predator's helmet-mounted lock-on system to kill it. But when she returns to her tribe, all she carries of the creature is its severed head. What about the deployable shield, the active camouflage, the armor, the weapons, and all the other pieces of advanced technology? Was it damaged beyond use in the fight? Is it possible for humans of the early 18th century to decipher? Or does Naru simply believe that she and her people are better off without such strange tools? That last option might be the most likely one. Prey makes a point of showing how advanced technology can be an untrustworthy ally, such as when the flintlock pistol given to Naru fails to fire, and when the predator is killed by its own weapon. Ultimately, instincts, intelligence, and survival skills are shown to be far superior to any piece of sci-fi tech, which might be why Naru lets the predator's gear rot in the mud. Or maybe, with the influx of European invaders, should simply rather leave the tools out of potentially dangerous and treacherous hands. At the end of Predator 2, Mike Harrigan is given a gift by an elder predator, a flintlock pistol from the year 1715, as a sign of respect. According to the name engraved on the gun, it once belonged to Raphael Adolini. While this moment is mainly meant to emphasize just how long the predators have hunted on Earth, the pistol has become a key piece of predator lore. At the end of Prey, it's revealed that the flintlock pistol given to Naru midway through the movie is the same one seen in Predator 2. The character who gives her the gun is credited in the film as Raphael, which would seem to tie the whole thing up nicely. Or it would, if not for a few lingering questions. The big mystery about the pistol now is how it got back into the hands of the alien hunters. Unless they specifically tracked it, which seems unlikely, it would be incredibly unlikely for them to encounter whoever it got passed down to decades or centuries later. The most logical explanation might be a pretty dark one. The predators return for Naru later on, defeat her, and take the gun as a trophy. Whatever the explanation, the return of the flintlock pistol is a pretty notable retcon of previously established Predator lore. Depending on what Predator stories you're reading or watching, you might have one of several different understandings of their history on Earth. The Alien vs. Predator movies show a timeline where the species lived among humans thousands of years in the past, and the comics show predators hunting humans as early as 1718. That might sound like it would line up perfectly with the events of Prey, but the fifth film in the franchise actually retcons some of the previous lore pretty severely in terms of how long the hunters have been around. The comic book Predator 1718 tells the story of Raphael Adolini, a pirate captain who encounters a predator shortly before his death. In the comic, he gives his engraved flintlock pistol to one of the aliens as a sign of respect. It's the same gun that's given back to humanity at the end of Predator 2.
Take it.
But in Prey, that flintlock pistol is given to Naru by a member of the French trappers. That would seem to undo the entire 1718 story from any kind of canon, which means that the actual history of predators on Earth is once again pretty murky. At the beginning of the movie, Naru delivers a pretty interesting bit of narration, explaining that, long ago, a monster had come to her land. Is she speaking about a time before the events of Prey or after? Perhaps predators have come to her home before, but it's never confirmed. There are some pretty big differences between the Predator in Prey and the ones seen in the other films in the franchise. Primarily, though the alien hunter still has a lot of impressive technology, it's not nearly to the level seen in later human hunts. This is most visible in one particularly glaring absence: the shoulder-mounted plasma cannon that's typically been the Predator's most iconic and dangerous weapon. In prior films, a plasma cannon is connected to the triangular targeting laser used by the Predators to hunt down their targets. In Prey, however, that targeting apparatus is connected to a handheld spear gun. Still a deadly weapon, as has proven multiple times, but not quite as advanced as the plasma cannon. The simplest explanation for the classic weapon's absence is that Predator technology just isn't quite as advanced in Prey, which would make sense given that it's several hundred years removed from the rest of the series. The Predator also has a mechanical shield, rather than an energy-based one, and a much simpler helmet and suit of armor than those worn by later hunters. Even still, it seems odd that a race that's achieved invisibility and interstellar travel hasn't yet mastered the science of big, deadly laser guns. Another possible explanation is that the hunter in Prey just chooses to use simpler tools to make the hunt more challenging. Historically, predators wear full helmets that hide their mandibular alien faces. In Prey, however, the alien hunter that fights Naru sports a very different piece of headgear. More of a mask than a helmet, it looks like it could be part of a skull, possibly a trophy from a past hunt modified with a laser tracking system. Why the predator chooses to wear the mask, however, remains unknown.
You are one ugly mother.
At the very least, the mask suggests that this isn't the predator's first rodeo. The hunter has killed before, but not necessarily on Earth. With a spaceship at the ready, the mask could belong to any number of as-yet unnamed species across the galaxy. It's also unclear if using this kind of trophy mask instead of the more traditional helmet is the norm of the time or a personal choice. We don't get to see another predator in Prey, but the alien choosing the mask instead of the classic armored helmet may be some kind of prideful display.